How's it going? I did a video around a year ago, around January or February of last year, that I touched on soul contracts or discussed soul contracts, and I feel moved to return to them. The family of origin, where we're born, is a soul contract. So we choose our parents, we choose the DNA line and the ancestry and the history of that family line, whatever's being carried. The line in the Bible is the sins of the father. So we're taking on that DNA baggage and trauma of our family line, and perhaps, and not no perhaps about it, and of our culture. So some people grow up in China and they have whatever the atheist communist history of China, or Eastern Europe or Russia, or war zones, or Ireland, Catholic Church, the invasion of the English, England, the British Empire, wherever, Italy, the church overbearing. So we consciously, from the higher self, before we come through the veil, we choose what challenges to actually enter the world. That's without even setting foot on soil. That we already have a list of shit to overcome. But that stuff makes us stronger. So, as I've said before about entity attachments or demons or whatever you want to label them, these things are teachers. It took me quite a while to come around to that, but I would understand that now. I work with them. We work with them. They work with us. They push us and challenge us and feed off us and push us to do the nasty things or feel the lower vibrations until we conquer them and until we don't need that stuff anymore. And then they move on. Or maybe we need a little help to move them on because they like to get fed, and once the food supply dries up, they might get a bit antsy. The reason I've been drawn back to this is just to reiterate a few things that I discussed kind of separately last year. There are people out there who, in quotes, remove entities or remove demons or attachments. And I did think that this was a good idea way back when. And it might be, depending. But I also understand now that, well, as I've said already, first of all, these things are not bad. We drive, and our higher self drives our experience. So if you're, and I am a sober alcoholic or a sober drug addict, am or was, which was about 17 years ago that I stopped, these dark entities feed on that. They feed on addiction. They feed on self-destruction. And they feed on all the lower emotions, the depression and wallowing, and the rage and anger and uncontrollability and stress that comes with it all. They feed on that stuff. Now, you don't need to be a drug addict to have that. There are plenty of people with 3 kids or 1 kid or no kid who are stuck in traffic and late for work or hate their jobs or whatever it is, and have maybe quite, wonderful Western lives. There are so many of us. We live in such an incredibly affluent society, and yet we're steered by these dark beings and the dark media to focus on all the bad things that are happening. Oh, the poor, and they can't afford heat during the winter, and all these, all the poor, all that kind of stuff. So that's all the lower vibration. The pain body, as Eckhart Tolle calls it. Entities feeding. It's the lower vibrationary feeding, when in reality there has never been more wealth, abundance and equality on this planet. It has never been like this before. There is less poverty than has ever been seen on this planet. And even the poor in the West can do pretty much all the things, in quotations, the rich can do. We can all own cars. We can travel on planes for so cheap. We all own smartphones, or most of us. Access to all of these things. We have cookers and heating and so on and so forth. So all the negative stuff is the entities feeding, running the media, bringing us down. Did you see there was a robbery? Did you see such and such died? Did you see that? Oh, they're so poor. Oh, the evil bankers. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Bring us down, bring us down, bring us down. Feed me, feed me, feed me. This runs its course with us, and eventually we get tired of it, we get sick of it, we grow out of it, we evolve, and we think, oh, I don't want anything to do with that shit anymore. And now and again we dip back in and we feed them, and then more and more we kind of stay away from it. Either is okay, it's all part of it, evolution, there's no wrong move. But eventually we do move out of it. My point is, until we move out of it, there's work to be done there. If we go to some person who will remove your attachments, if I have a contract to fulfill my experience with this stress or this lower vibrationary stuff, let's call it X, by removing the entity that is helping to kind of fuel this or who's feeding off it, merely it draws in another entity. You walk down the street, they're everywhere. We live in a soup of beings and of ether. You know, it's like being in the sea and you're among shoals of fish. So they're all around us. We open the window for a contract to engage with. We learn something from them. If we don't want them, we don't open the window. It is as simple as that. So by an incomplete contract, by removing these entities, it is true that perhaps they are moved on. It's possible. But you walk out the door or you're among your co-workers, your friends and family, and your higher self will just contract in another. Now, the benefit is if the contract has come to a close and we need a shift. So we need a blast of higher energy, in a sense, to realign our DNA, realign our energy so that the contract is closed, the being can be moved on, and we're shifted to a place of power, a stronger place. In a sense, that's one of the things that I do, that as a conduit for what I feel is my higher self, that it realigns people's DNA, reprograms in a sense, and will move on if the contract is to be moved on. It's not always the case though. It depends what the agreement is. That's why I have always said for people, if you feel moved to work with me, I would suggest to follow that. If you don't, well then don't. You know, I can't do anything for you. So there's a difference between feeling moved by your instinct or your gut when you think there's some work here, or if your mind is going, I have to be saved. I hope he can save me. I'm going to pay for a session, and at the end of the session, I'll no longer be fat and broke, manic depressive and suicidal and drinking all day. So the contract has to come to an end. I can't end your contracts, you know. Your higher self has sent you here, has chosen to come in here to have certain experiences. And until those are fulfilled, you're stuck with it. You know, you got to get through it. But there obviously are plenty of things we can do to help it along. You know, sitting in the pub all day or bitching and moaning about your co-workers or whatever it is, you know, is fueling, and you'll go through. It's not very enjoyable. But there are steps that we can take just to try and help ourselves out of it. You know, it's like getting fit. Like, you kind of have to go for a walk, or you kind of have to. You're not going to get You're not going to get fit by sitting on the couch watching X Factor. You know, you got to move. It's the same with the kind of spiritual uplift or cleanse or moving forward. Got to take some steps. That doesn't mean be immersed in. I don't like being immersed in anything. We got to live our lives. We came into the third dimension. We came to this planet or plane, whatever it is, hologram, to have this supposedly physical experience that doesn't exist. So let's play the game. Let's play the computer game, as opposed to trying to get out of it or trying to run from it. Try to be still and look at it, see what that pain is, why it's being shown to you. You know, as I've said so many times, it's people don't want to look at the pain. And that's why I just dislike, I don't have much time for fluffy spirituality. It's a fraud for me. I don't buy it. It's not for me. If it helps people along, great, go for it. But, you know, the crystals and fluffiness and coloured yoga mats and all the shiny stuff, it's all nice and lovely. But we all have darkness to work through to get free. And by facing that and owning that and being in our power in that and accepting that this shadow is part of who I am, that's where the power is. That's where peace is. True peace. Trying to remain in the sunlight at all times and deny that there is a shadow or any kind of darkness because he's toxic. I don't go around toxic people or angry people or they're so negative. I don't want to be around negative. You know, these negative toxic people are merely a reflection of your own energetic consciousness. They wouldn't enter or vibrate with you if you didn't have that within you. So make peace with that. At this point, I have no idea what this video was about. I'm gone so far off track. I don't even know what I started talking about. What was it? Soul contracts. The point in a way is begin to accept that we're drawing everything in. The asshole in work, the bad traffic, the bills, whatever it is, the difficult parent or child that we have, or sister or sibling, whatever. We're drawing our animal, our pet dog. We're drawing all these experiences in to force us to evolve past it, to own it and take responsibility and evolve past it, So take responsibility for this stuff. Stop running from it. Stop pointing the finger at other people and going, well, he's toxic, or it's over there. I don't want anything to do with that. And that doesn't mean stay in, abusive relationships or jobs or whatever. When we make peace with these things, the universe aligns itself and a new job is presented, or a relationship just harmoniously falls away, or we're moved to move on. We feel, okay, I gotta go. I just have to move. I don't know why. I gotta go. So it doesn't mean you stay in the war zone. So take responsibility, but also to have a little understanding that these things have to run their course. Imagine how much easier life would be to actually be able to sit in yourself, sit in your situation, go, this is actually okay. This could be a lot worse, and I've got some good things going on, rather than worrying about the bills and being single or being married or being whatever, and all the shit that we kind of throw up, to actually be totally in power and present, going, this doesn't faze me. I'm not afraid of this. I'm not worried. I can handle this. I can accept it, and I can move past it and create what I do want. That's a powerful place to be. Anyway, thanks for listening. Hope it was of use. Subscribe. Sign up to my newsletter.